guys, in today's video I'll be showing you how to own a hamster for practically free. Now obviously it's not going to be completely free because the hamster alone costs like around $15, the food is around $10, and the cage can be like $50. But I'm going to be showing you how to save as much money as you can and get your hamster for pretty much free. So the first thing that you're obviously going to need is a cage. Now, the cages at the pet store are way too small and they're really expensive. For example, a Critter Trail cage is around $30 and it's so small. Critter Trail is the size of my bunny's litter box, so it's pretty small. Now, a bin cage can cost pretty much free. All you're gonna need is a bin. Now, I'm not saying to go buy a bin because obviously that would cost money, but I'm saying if you have a bin already, just, it has to be big enough. And if it is big enough, then boom, you have a free hamster cage. Now I recommend an 110 quart bin cage. That's pretty much what I have and it works really well. It's also really big. You could even connect two bins together and make like a bin cage. Just remember the minimum is 450 square inches and it used to be 360 and they changed it. So if you have a 450 one, that's actually pretty big even though it is the minimum. So now that we have the cage, let's talk about the bedding. Bedding could be extremely expensive. Now, you can't use any type of wood chips unless it's aspen. And so that cancels out pine and cedar, which are the two most cheapest beddings. And we all know that those beddings are bad. So if you can't use pine and cedar, everything else is so expensive. Especially if you have Carefresh, it's so expensive, it's like $20. And you also have to pay that around once a month. So a free way to get some bedding is just get a paper shredder and then shred some paper. And there you go, you got some free bedding. Now this bedding obviously won't be the most comfortable, but it could do, and it's actually a lot safer than like corn cob, pine, cedar. Also, I kind of recommend it because it's really cheap and then you can make a lot at a time. You can also use ripped up toilet paper. So we discussed that you can use shredded paper, shredded toilet paper. You could even just get some toilet paper and rip it up with your hands and then that would work. Now that doesn't mean you can't put a little bit of bedding. You still should put 2 to 3 inches of bedding. Now that's what I recommend, or you could even make some DIY hamster bedding and I'll leave a link in the description on how to make it. It's not my video. All credit goes to Aaron's Animals. So we discussed that, now let's discuss a hidey house. As you can see on the screen, hamsters need hidey houses because they have to hide and they sleep in it and they store food in it, and if they're scared they'll go in it. These aren't that expensive, they usually range from like around $4 to $12 I would say. They sell them at like Petco, PetSmart, Walmart. But if you want to save as much money as you can, you could easily just make these. Now I'll leave a video in the description. All credit goes to Chocolate Colors 26 or Victoria Rachel. She made this idea and it's pretty much using paper mache, but like a hamster safe version of it. And this will be free because all you need is paper, and obviously paper is not free, but everyone has some paper to spare. Now that we got that, now you're probably going to need a water bottle. You could just use a water bowl, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Water bottles are only like $2, so you could just buy one of those. But of course, if you want to save money, just use like a tiny little bowl or an egg pouch thing that you have. Okay, my bunny's out right now, so don't mind that. So you're going to need a food and a water bowl, and just use tiny little bowls you have at your house. That's usually fine. You could even use those little muffin things, the little muffin tins, and those work fine. If you are using a muffin tin for a water bowl, just stack a couple on top of each other, just so the water doesn't leak through. So now you're going to need toys, and toys are honestly so easy to make. All you're going to need are some paper towel rolls. You can literally just put these in the cage and make a nice tunnel. If you have a Syrian, just cut like a slit down so they don't get stuck in it. I personally never had problems with that, but you probably would want to do that. Of course, if you had a dwarf hamster, you don't have to worry about cutting a slip anywhere because they're pretty small. Now I'll insert some pictures on the screen on some DIY hamster toys with paper towel rolls. You could even use popsicle sticks, and toilet paper is not free, but you probably have it from your parents. So I guess in that case it is free. Just wait till you finish a toilet paper roll or paper towel roll, and then instead of throwing out this tube, just keep it. Okay, I had to put Peach away because she was gonna explode with food. Her cheeks were just packed. So now we're gonna be talking about treats. Now, treats are kind of like candy to us. We can live without candy, and it'd actually be healthier for us, so you don't really need treats for your hamster. Of course, treats are a nice little candy or treat to have sometimes, maybe once or twice a week. So in the description, I'll be leaving a bunch of treat recipes. Of course, not my videos, probably from Fuzzy Polka Dot, Chocolate Colors 26, and Aaron's Animals. Credit to them for those videos. So you could just make treats, or you could just use some vegetables. So now, so far, everything I've talked about is free. So far, with owning a hamster, you should not have spent any money with like what I'm telling you right here. Some people like to give their hamster grass, and obviously that's free, just get it from your backyard. And if you're in the winter, you don't really need grass. Now the wheel. So probably many of you are thinking that you have to spend a good amount of money on your hamster wheel. That is not true, because you could make a wheel yourself. Now you could use popsicle sticks, and I know I wouldn't probably recommend that wheel, but if you're on a really tight budget, then do it. It's fine. I'm just gonna say don't use any mesh or wired wheels, because those can cause bumblefoot, and that could be really painful for your hamster. And make sure the wheel is big enough so your hamster's back doesn't curve. Because imagine you running on a treadmill and your back is curved a lot. So as you can see, the wheel I have right here is over here is a comfort wheel, and it's really good. It was kind of expensive. It was like $10 or something. So if you want to spend money, you could do that. But Aaron's Animals has a video on how to make a wheel with a container. So you could just use that, and if you have the container, obviously it's free. So everything is free so far. As you can see, the house I made over here is just made with popsicle sticks. That's fine. So now everything is free except for the food. Now unfortunately, you cannot make the food. You have to buy a nice food. Food's only about $10, and so it would work the best. Don't cheap out on the food or buy a cheap food, because your hamster's life is more important than like $10 that you're saving. And don't make the food, because it's going to be so much more expensive. I suggest Vitacraft Vitasmart or Hart's Bonanza. That's what I use, and it's pretty good. Hazel Hamster, although it's kind of rare now, they don't really sell it anywhere, so if you could find it, then buy it. So I'm pretty sure I covered everything, except for if you have a long hair hamster like Peach here, and you want to groom them, then you could just use a toothbrush, an old one. It's free, just get it from your dentist, and that's fine. So that's pretty much everything. Obviously the hamster is $15, food will be $10. So in total, you're probably gonna spend $25 on your hamster, which is nothing. Don't forget, these prices I'm talking about are in Canada, so in the US it'll be cheaper. Now, of course, if you wanna buy a water bottle instead of using a water bowl, that's probably an extra $5, but you could use a water bowl. Just make sure if you see your hamster like sleeping in the bowl, then you should probably switch to a water bottle. And also Craigslist and Kijiji have a bunch of hamster supplies. Maybe like someone's hamster died and they're trying to get rid of all their stuff. So they're gonna sell all their stuff for maybe $10. And so yeah, that's another way of saving money. But with my idea, you could get everything for around $25, and that's including your hamster. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, request, and share, and I hope this video helped you. Tell me in the comments if it did. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!